Yo, what up? I'm back, and this week I'm going to be breaking down Bellator 237, but before any of that, I just want to say, it's the holidays, it's almost Christmas, so I just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone out there celebrating Christmas in a couple days. Happy Hanukkah. Thanks for all the support from you guys this whole year. The last couple years, it's been awesome, building this community here, and hopefully we can keep it rolling into 2020 as well. We've been doing well with the picks and the parlays recently, so hopefully we can keep that going as well on this card. And I am going to be trying to put out a PFL championships prediction as well, so be on the lookout for that in the next few days. But here's Bellator 237, Fedor versus Rampage, a fight that, hardcore fans have been wanting to see for a long time, but maybe it's a little bit past its expired date now, but it's going to go down. But the first fight of the night, Michael Page taking on Shinzo Anzai. And, Michael Venom Page, MVP, he's had back-to-back knockouts and suffering that loss to Douglas Lima. And he's fought some pretty low-level competition. And nothing really changes here. I mean, in this matchup, he's 16-1. He's taken on Shinzo Anzai, who has fought in the UFC. He's 34. And he's had a 2-2 record in the UFC. And he did pick a victory up and deep earlier this year. But, Shinzo is a kind of a tailor-made matchup for a guy like Venom Page, because on the feet, he isn't going to give Venom Page anything to worry about. So Michael Venom Page is going to be able to be in and out. He's going to be moving. I don't think he's going to be that nervous about the stand-up of Shinzo. Only going to have to worry about the takedowns. And, the fights where he's had trouble with takedown defense are fights where he's fighting like Cyborg Santos or Paul Daly, Douglas Lima, guys that are hitters, man, that can challenge him in the striking as well. And Shinzo, he's a slow guy. He gets beat up on the ground or on the feet in a lot of his fights. His striking just isn't on the level of a guy like Michael Page. Page is much faster, a lot longer reach, much taller, younger. He's in his prime, and everything points to Michael Page winning this fight. He's a huge favorite, most likely. I don't think they've even had odds out for this yet, but definitely going with Michael Venom Page. Probably going to pick a first-shot knockout here. And as we keep rolling along here on this Ryzen vs. Bellator card, next match is representing Bellator, Goiti Yamaguchi. And he's fighting the guy representing Ryzen and Darren Cruikshank. And, Goiti, he's been one of Bellator's best products for years. He's only 26, but he's already 9-3 in Bellator. And he's been training practically his whole life. He started jiu-jitsu at 3 years old. He's a black belt, and he started doing Muay Thai wrestling before the age of 10. 7-0 as a pro kickboxer, 5-0 as a boxer, so definitely is well-rounded there. And he's dangerous on the feet, but mainly on the ground is where he gets his finishes, does his best work. 19 submission victories and 24 wins, and he also holds the Bellator record for submissions with 7. And on the feet, he uses a karate stance. He is light on his feet, good timing with his punches. Good kicks as well, really nasty straight right hand, and he will throw a left hook straight right hand combination that's pretty accurate. Nice step in knees to the body and the head, and his accuracy is good. He'll stun opponents as they come in, kind of good pot shotter, and good front leg side kicks to the body and the head. He did rock Michael Chandler, who's also on this card, former Bellator champion, with the front leg side kick to the head, and he'll throw nice front kicks to the body. Fighters who can get inside, throw hooks, overhands, and make him fight in the pocket, do have success. He does hold his chin high, and he is hittable there, and he's hard to finish, though, because when he's hurt, he is confident flopping down, recovering on the mat, and he's never been finished in his career, so definitely is very durable. He doesn't really have the best takedowns, but it seems like, he will use body lock trips, jiu-jitsu takedowns, and is pretty relentless in terms of trying to get him when he has to be, but doesn't shoot many takedowns from range. And he will shoot in on singles and then pull guard, and when opponents take him down, he kind of lets them take him down, and he's very dangerous in his guard, which has, paid off for him in the past where he has gotten some sweeps, rear naked chokes, but he's also lost fights against guys like Michael Chandler by just being too complacent on his back. But he does throw up nice arm bars, triangles, good sweeps, and he's composed. He looks good in round 3, good cardio, experienced veteran by now, so he's a good fighter, and he's taking on the UFC veteran, now Ryzen fighter, and Darren Cruikshank. And this is going to be his Bellator debut, because this is technically Bellator 237, but it is in Japan, so they are kind of giving the home field advantage to Cruikshank, and Cruikshank, he is a dangerous striker. He does have a long karate stance as well, and decent hand straight punch combinations, and he has nice front leg side kick attacks as well. Good, side kicks to create openings for spins. He has really nasty spinning kicks, body head, spinning back fists. He'll explode in with flying knees, flying punches, flying elbows. Very dynamic, and his defense on the feet is not very good, though. He is a bit chinny. He lunges in. He holds his hands low. And he was dropped a couple times in his last fight. But the thing is, Cruikshank has 13 knockouts, and the same reason he can get hurt is why he's dangerous. He's just a guy that goes for it. He'll throw a lot of stuff. Extremely dangerous with high kicks. He has been knocked out 3 times, but he does have a decent chin, and he's also a former college wrestler, so he does have the ability to take guys down, singles, doubles. And in top position, he's shown good elbows and aggressive ground and pound, but overall, he really never uses his wrestling in most fights. He does use it, against guys like Andy Sauer, like when he's fighting pure kickboxers. But overall, his jiu-jitsu has been his downfall throughout his career. He has 2 submissions. But in reality, one was because of the ground and pound elbow, so he really has 1. And he's been submitted 7 times. So if this fight hits the mat, he's going to be in serious trouble, especially because he is susceptible to the rear naked choke. And in this matchup, Cruikshank is live because Goiti doesn't have the best striking defense. And he could get clipped with a big explosive action from Cruikshank. Darren could potentially land a big kick, spinning attack. But Goiti's experienced, he's very composed, and he has a chance to land a big straight as Cruikshank enters himself. And if he times it right, he could hurt Cruikshank as well. And I just think Goiti is more durable. If this fight hits the mat, Goiti will likely find the submission as well. So I see him being able to submit him off his back, and especially if he gets on top. And my pick's going to be Goiti Yamaguchi by rear naked choke. This fight is in Japan. Yamauchi is half Japanese, half Brazilian, so I'm sure it means a lot to him to be fighting here, and I doubt he's going to let this one slip away. So I'm going with Goiti Yamauchi via second round rear naked choke here. And up next here we have a women's flyweight fight. And Ilaro Joanne, she's making a quick turnaround following her upset victory over Beck Rawlings. And she looks to be a promising prospect for Bellator. She trains with the Pitbull brothers. She is a finisher. She does kind of have that stick with the Game of Thrones thing going on. And she'll be facing Kata Watanabe, who will be representing Ryzen. She's undefeated with a 9-0-1 record. And she's won 6 consecutive fights. In her 2 Ryzen matches, she's faced solid competition. But besides that, her competition level has been very weak. She's coming off fighting a girl who's making her MMA debut, and 4 of her 7 victories have came against MMA debutantes. But Watanabe, she is a black belt in judo, and she uses that to win the majority of her fights. She's very physical. She likes to land a straight or a hook, use that to close the distance into the clinch. And in the clinch, she has great throws, foot sweeps, and she's good at being able to take the back with the whizzer. And when she gets on top of opponents, she passes their guards. In half guard or side control, she will rain down some solid elbows, short punches, and she really likes to get in that crucifix position, finish fights from there. And she's always looking for the back. She's a okay rear naked choke. She's improving at looking for the chokes after softening her opponents up, but still not the best at sticking the choke. But she's also good off her back. She'll attack with triangles, arm bars, and due to that, she is willing to go for throws that potentially put her on bottom, and she's a good scrambler. And her striking, though, it isn't the best. She does keep her hands extended. She'll try to parry punches and gauge distance, but it can lead to opponents, coming over the top, going around her guard. And she has a decent straight right hand. She likes to throw the front leg a lot. She'll throw a lot of low kicks, round head kicks, front kicks. But overall, her striking is stiff. She kind of keeps her head firmly on center line, her chin high. And good strikers who force her to stand will be able to expose her on the feet. But she does have power, and if she can land clean, she could definitely knock you out. She does have an 11-second knockout. Her striking, is just not at the level really to be dangerous, though. And that's her only standing KO. But she does have a TKO from punches in the crucifix position, 3 submissions. And she's going to be the hometown favorite, much more used to fighting in Japan. And her opponent, Ilari Joanne, is a grappler herself. She's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. She also likes to get takedowns in the clinch. She's kind of got more body lock trips, more jiu-jitsu type takedowns. And I don't know if Joanne has ever fought someone as good in the clinch as Kana, and I see her struggling with that, and I see her being the less physical of the two women as well. But Joanne, when she gets in top position, she likes to work positions and submissions over damage. Doesn't really throw a ton of ground and pound, and she could stay inside opponents' guards, get stood up. She didn't really do much damage in her fight with Bec Rawlings in top position, but eventually, Bec Rawlings made a mistake, and she was able to catch a leg lock in a scramble. She does have 3 submissions. Her striking isn't the best either. It did look a little better in the last matchup. She did land a nice low kick that swept Bec off her feet. She has decent hooks, overhands over the top. She'll use head kicks, but throws a lot of arm punches. Very bad defense, and I think these girls are actually pretty similar on their striking level, and I actually favor Kana Watanabe in this fight. I think she's the better athlete, the better grappler, and she should be able to dominate position in a grappling heavy fight here. I also believe she has the cleaner, straighter punches, and probably even though they're both low level with the striking, she maybe will be able to win that as well. So I'm going with Kana Watanabe via decision here. And up next here we have two pretty recognizable welterweights here with Lorenz Larkin and Keita Nakamura. And Lorenz Larkin, he's found his groove in Bellator a bit now. He started 0-2, but he has ran off 3 consecutive wins. And he most recently defeated former Bellator champion Andrei Koreshkov. And Larkin, he's going to challenge longtime UFC vet Keita Nakamura. And, Keitaro, he did pick up a win in Rizin after getting cut from the UFC earlier this year. He actually got a knockout. And this is going to be his second fight in Rizin. Obviously, being Japanese, he is going to have the crowd on his side. He's probably going to be more used to fighting out there. But, man, Larkin's low kicks, his speed, he has way better striking, and he showed decent grappling and takedown defense in his last fight versus Andrei Koreshkov. If he just moves, uses low kicks, picks Keita apart from the outside, he should eventually find the kill shot. Keitaro, he did get a knockout against a jiu-jitsu guy in his last fight, but his speed in the striking realm has dropped a bit, and he's been in the game a long time. He's accumulated a lot of damage. I just think Larkin is the much better athlete. He's much faster. It's his fight to lose. We've seen Keitaro really bothered by the low kicks. Larkin has some of the best low kicks in MMA, in my opinion. If he gets takedowns, that's Keitaro's world, and he's gotten big comeback wins, nice submission victories. He always has that chance, especially in Japan. He's a comeback king, but Larkin should be a big favorite, and he should get the KO here or win a dominant decision. There's no reason that he should be losing to a guy like Keita Nakamura, so Lorenz Larkin should win this fight, and it should be a fairly dominant decision or entry for Lorenz Larkin here. My opinion here is the best fight on the card. Actually, a pretty solid fight here with Michael Chandler taking on Sidney Outlaw. Michael Chandler, he's looking to bounce back. He just got knocked out against his longtime rival Patricio Pitbull, lost his title very quickly, and he was expecting to face Benson Henderson in this spot, but Bendo, he was forced to withdraw. Now he's replaced by Sidney Outlaw. And Outlaw's not an easy opponent by any means. He's been undefeated over the last 3 years. His last loss was a split decision to Gregor Gillespie. He trains at American Top Team. And he's actually a main training partner of George Masvidal. And, Mike Chandler, he's at the Black Zillions with guys like Usman, Chaz Skelly. So both guys have great camps. Should put on a show here. And Sidney Outlaw, I don't think he's at the level of the striking that Chandler is. But he is improving with his entries, his defense. He's closing the distance a little better. And he is an athlete, so he throws some decent combinations. But his striking is still very rudimentary. He isn't very dangerous on the feet, and he doesn't really open up with a lot of power shots because he's very vulnerable, standing when he opens up and kind of overextends. He can look a little sloppy, and he knows who he is. He plays to his strengths, He's super hittable. He's slow with his punches. Very bad head movement. And if Chandler can force him to strike, I seem likely maybe getting the knockout here. But Outlaw will throw heavy. He has decent uppercuts, straight left, right hook, overhand right. And he overextends on his punches, like I said. And he has been TKO'd one time in his career. He only has one TKO himself. But against a guy who's, been... Chandler, actually, to me, he's shown one of the best chins in MMA, but he's taken a lot of damage over his career. Eddie Alvarez, that fight with Will Brooks, multiple fights with Will Brooks, the fight in his last fight where he finally got finished by strikes, and, man, that accumulates up eventually, but Outlaw as a grappler is a fucking beast. His timing on his double legs in space are a thing of beauty. He backs his opponents up. He'll chain wrestle very effectively. He'll elevate with big slams, and he just demoralizes his opponents by mat returning them consistently. And if you throw a naked kick, get ready to get caught and get taken down as well. And when Outlaw gets in top position, his pressure is pretty special, man. He'll pressure past the dominant positions. He'll get to half guard, attack the body with big knees, hard elbows, forearms to the head. And Outlaw will trap the far wrist, smash opponents with short shots. He'll force them to give their backs, and he'll get the crucifix position also inside control. He'll attack with arm bars, head and arm chokes, bulldog chokes, and Outlaw loves taking the back. He'll flatten opponents out. He'll rain down punches, good rear naked choke. And in Outlaw's last match, he did get a little bit too aggressive a couple times, moving to the back, and he did allow Roger Huerta to get up a couple times because of that, but he's excellent in scrambles, man. Usually ends up on top, so he's confident to take risk, and he has the cardio to wrestle for 3 rounds, so if you get up, he's not really worried about gassing out. He has 7 submission victories, and he has been submitted 1 time, 6-1 in decisions as well, and I see it being hard to beat a guy with a style like Outlaw. He'll never quit, huge heart. You know, he was homeless before finding jiu-jitsu, becoming a Renzo Gracie black belt. And this is a chance here to jump into the spotlight, really raise his profile. But he's fighting Michael Chandler, who's one of the greatest fighters in Bellator history. And Chandler needs to win this matchup to stay in title contention. Chandler, you know himself, he's a former All-American wrestler out of Missouri. Extremely athletic. And for this fight with Outlaw, if I were Chandler, I would, keep it standing, not throw kicks. Walk Outlaw down, but stay light on his feet, in and out, and try to outstrike him, because Chandler needs to back Outlaw up with forward pressure, force him to exchange, and I feel like he's much cleaner with this technique. He throws faster, he throws more powerful punches and kicks, but he isn't finesse, and he'll throw overhands, hooks, kind of really load up, and that's where Outlaw's going to have a chance to get in on those hips, but his defense as well is a little bit questionable. He can't throw full power. He can get a little bit stiff. And like I said, in this last match, he did get knocked out in less than 30 seconds. But he has 7 knockouts himself. He's dropped a lot of people. He's very fast out the gates, very explosive, very athletic. But, he has been TKO'd 3 times. And he will fake level changes, come up with uppercuts. He has heavy round and body kicks, but I hope we get to see some grappling. Chandler is very hard to hold down. Nice guillotine. And I see Outlaw trying to control Chandler against a cage or have him down and he's in top position. And I don't see Outlaw wanting to be in the center or backing up. If he does, he's likely going to lose the fight. But Chandler, his takedown defense is pretty good. He has an elite sprawl, very physical. He'll dig underhooks, disengage, or just shuck off attempts. He'll force opponents to give their back with guillotines or the wizard, big sprawl, and he's barely been taken down. He's never been submitted in MMA. I don't really expect Chandler to want to use his offensive wrestling in this match. I see him wanting to back Outlaw up with the striking, forward pressure, outstrike him, and I'm going to say Chandler wins this fight by TKO or decision, but I do think it's a close fight, and I feel like the line is going to be off. I feel like they're going to be lining Chandler as a sizable favorite, where I feel like Outlaw should maybe be like plus 160, maybe Chandler like minus 175, something like that. I don't know what they're going to be lining it at, but I'm going to pick Michael Chandler via TKO here. And up next here, the main event, we got the 2 former Pride legends coming back to Saitama Super Arena to finally put up the fight that a lot of Japanese fans have been wanting for a long time. Both these guys are in their 40s now, so it's obviously not as good a fight as it would have been 10, 15 years ago, but they're still getting a fight now, and it's going to be at heavyweight, where obviously Rampage used to be campaigning at 205, and I just haven't really liked how Rampage has looked at heavyweight, but he did get in there, get the win over Vanderlei Silva in his last fight by knockout, and Fedor, he went in there against Ryan Bader after he made it to the finals of the Bellator heavyweight tournament, and Bader dispatched him very quickly, knocked him out in like 20 seconds. But, in Rampage, he still has decent head movement, forward pressure, but his explosiveness is gone. He's very slow. He is dangerous with uppercuts, with hooks, with overhands. He has power, and he'll throw heavy shots. That's how he beat Vanderlei. He was just backing him up, being low volume, countering, and eventually turned up in the pocket and finished him. But Vanderlei's a smaller guy. He's very slow himself. And Fedor is still more explosive. He throws longer shots. He closes the distance and plays a distance game better than Rampage, in my opinion. And he kind of likes to move more, spring in and out with dangerous shots. I feel like Fedor is better in the clinch also. Maybe he'll land a throw, land some nice knees there. But, this is a weird fight just because Fedor, we've known that his durability isn't what it used to be. And Rampage could still, take a punch. It seems like he still can. I mean, he's not getting out here getting knocked out. And maybe if he could just continue to walk Fedor down, after a couple minutes, Fedor's going to get tired. And Rampage could gas him out and knock him out. But, man, I mean, this is a tough one for me. I'm going to pick Fedor via first round TKO. But don't have a lot of confidence. Both guys are shot. But I think Fedor is still in a little better shape. He's more athletic, and I think Rampage is more durable. And if he lands one on Fedor's chin, he may go down, but Fedor, has power himself, and he definitely can hurt Rampage. So I'm going to go with the guy that I think is still a little bit more athletic, still a little bit more dangerous in Fedor Emelianeko. But, man, I mean, if you want to bet on that fight, that's going to be a tough one to bet on, in my opinion. I mean, I don't really know. So, yeah, that's going to be a tough one to bet on, in my opinion. But, yeah, I'm going with Fedor via first round knockout of that. Okay, and am just seeing the odds right now. So, I guess they just put these out pretty recently. But, yeah, so it is Fedor minus 125, Rampage minus 105. So, basically a pick 'em slightly into Fedor there. Then, Michael Venom Page minus 800 against Shinzo. Larkin minus 485. Goiti Yamauchi minus 325, and then Michael Chandler minus 365. Wow, I don't agree with that line at all. He opened up minus 900. That's pretty incredible. That's an insane line in my opinion. But for the parlay of the week, I would say just do the big favorites, I guess, with besides Chandler, Yamauchi, Lorenz Larkin, Michael Page. Parlay those up. And, man, I mean, I don't want to do an underdog of the week with Sidney Outlaw just because I don't think he could win, or I don't believe he's going to win. I obviously think he can win, but, man, he has a lot of value there at plus 275. He was at plus 600, man. I wish I would have saw that, but, yeah, so that's going to be the parlay of the week, the most confident pick. It's going to be Michael Venom Page minus 800, but it is what it is, man. I only broke down 5 fights, just the main card for this one. The whole card isn't terrible. I mean, we could take a look at it. I could just give you, just like I didn't break any of these fights down, but the ones that I have a pick on, I'll give you a pick. I don't really, these first few fights, I don't really know much about them. I guess I would pick Jared Brooks just because I do think Jared Brooks is a good fighter, but don't know anything about. Yeah, I don't really know much about these other fighters, guys. I know John Talk and Subiora, but I don't know who I would pick in that fight. But yeah, so I'm just going to go with that for you guys. I'm going to give you guys the 5 that I did, and that was the most confident pick, the part of the week. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and be on the lookout for the PFL video if I do end up putting it out there. And yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully we can have fun watching these fights also, make some money at the end of the year.